Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt186 and today I'm taking a look at Lenovo's Legion M500 mouse. It's a mouse that I had higher expectations for, but it kind of delivered on that subpar level, and we're going to cover that now. Now, one of the biggest things about it has a pretty interesting look. It almost looks like something that Dell and Alienware might come up with. It's got this super in-cut design right there where your thumb finger would go, or it's pretty much to rest your thumb. But ultimately, for at least someone with the size hand that I have, I find it uncomfortable. My thumb just kind of rests on the very lip of the bottom of it. It is rubberized feeling, but it's also so in-cut that if you're used to holding other mice, you might notice that it's a little bit difficult to grip this mouse. If this is the first mouse you're going to and trying to use, you'll probably get used to it, but for the most part it's almost like you're pinching your fingers together because the cut-in is so drastic that it feels like you're holding this really tiny thing instead of a normal mouse grip. I don't know if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. It just has a kind of wonky feel when you're trying to grip the mouse, especially if you're a claw gripper. Which leads me to number two. It's very slanted on the left and right buttons. They slant off heavily, and it also leaves my ring finger and my pinky finger to drag on the mouse mat, which is super uncomfortable to me. Now, it does come with 3 stock profiles, and on the bottom of the mouse you can swap those profiles. You can also add profiles later if you go into Lenovo Legion's software suite and go in there and just add new profiles. It does have a 50 million click life cycle as well as the 3389 sensor by Pixart. What is the 3389? It's just kind of a step up from the 336 series of Pixart sensors. There's not a whole lot of difference there. You might I can't tell you that I feel any kind of difference using it compared to any of the other 33 series sensors, but it's the next step up. It's a little bit better, supposed to be a little bit better, but lift off and feel of moving it and the drag, it all feels the same to me as if it was like a 3360 sensor. Whatever changes were made with it, negligible at best. The mouse also does have an adjustable weight in it, so it adds 10 grams or takes away 10 grams. The total weight of the mouse without the weight is 100 grams, so you add the 10 grams, you get 110 grams. It does come out of the box polling at 1,000. You can, of course, step this down in the UI suite, and you can go down to 500 or 250. That's great. That's what we kind of expect to see with some of these mice anyways. So while they're 50 million click Omron switches, the depression actuation is a little stiff for me, and that could have something to do with the slant, especially on the right click. It's a little bit stiff to click, and I find myself missing clicks every once in a while. I wish there was a little more sensitivity, a little more tuned to the depression actuation than it is, but it's a little stiff feeling to me. Now, from the forward and back buttons, the up and down DPI buttons, the scroll wheel depression, left and right click, all 7 of these buttons are programmable in the UI suite. You can go in there and you can set macros. You can even select different things, like they have media setups in there. So if you wanted to change what each button does just quickly without having to macro something, they do have a couple presets in there that you can set, especially if you make another profile where you can go in there and just quickly change. I'm going to use this profile and I'm going to use it for these media functions. But likewise, you can also go in there and do macros so that you can set macros to certain buttons, such as forward and back for any kind of special weapon swap or special weapon execute command that you want to do. You can set that up. Now, there is the option to also in the UI suite do something called surface tuning. I've seen this with other mice before, but I'm not really sure how much it actually does. It just tells me to draw a figure 8, and even if I'm drawing 10s or 6s or 3s because I'm terrible at making the figure 8 perfect, it tells me, hey, great, it did it. And I can't tell you that I notice a difference when it does it, but it's there. Maybe a placebo effect to make you feel like you've fine-tuned your mouse to your own mouse mat or setup. The built-in color functions are a little bit lackluster. You have static, you have rainbow, and you have breathing. Now, that being said, though, there are 3 independent lighting areas on the mouse. The bottom lighting area is its own separate thing from the scroll wheel and from the back of the mouse. So you can actually essentially set these to be 3 different settings if you want. You want one to be static, one to be rainbow, and one to be, breathing. Well, there you go. I don't have a lot to say about this mouse, but I will say just buyer beware if you're somebody that's concerned about that whole design, because the design is a little weird feeling. Now, it's something that if you take time and get used to, I imagine you'll be able to excel and be great with it. But for the most part, I find it difficult to adjust to, as I'm somebody that's not used a mouse with this severe in-cut design and the slanted left-right buttons before. I mean, I imagine if this is where you're starting, you might be happy with it. But me personally, I can't stand it. Anyways, guys, you have a great day, night, whatever it is. I'll see you in the next video that I do.